It's 6:33. This is Breakfast with Stephen and Ellie.
And let's take a look at today's newspapers for you now. And the Eye Weekend says Tory insiders fear they could lose up to 150 MPs in the next general election.
The Times says Rishi Sunak plans to use more assertive strategies to curb Labour's poll lead.
The Daily Express says the Prime Minister is determined to intensify his plans and win the next general election.
I mean, that's a bit obvious, isn't it?
A little bit,
all politicians want to win the next
general election. I'd be concerned if he didn't.
Well, quite right. The Telegraph reports that senior Tories putting pressure on the PM to change eco-policy, drive to net zero. It's a big thing on that. Whether that's going to be enough to try and win them a few votes back, I don't know.
And is that the right way to go?
I don't know.
Or should it be more...
I don't think it's that obvious.
...fiscal policy? Well, I think the ULEZ thing is people trying to save money, not anything to do with the environment. But do let us know. GBNEWS at gbnews.com. But going through the papers this morning is radio and television broadcaster David Hamilton and writer and journalist Emma Wolfe. Really good to see you both this morning. David, we'll start with you, shall we?
Good
morning.
Good morning.
Triple by-elections in The Guardian. According to Keir Starmer, it's a cry for change.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we've all heard the results. Huge Labour victory in Selby and Ainsty. Lib Dems winning in Somerton and Frome. Tories a narrow victory in Uxbridge, probably helped by the ULEZ effect, I think. I think their best hope seems to be London. And Keir Starmer was asked if he would persuade the London mayor to reverse his decision. And several times he said the same word. I can't remember what it was. I think it was, we'll review it or something like that. So he never actually answered that. But, I mean, I think London really seems to be their best bet. This is so unpopular. This spread of ULEZ across London. But the rest of it, I mean, new policies, what are they going to do? They seem to have tried everything. I think their best hope is that the economy improves, in which case they may be lucky.
Yeah, I mean, I think it will absolutely come down to the economy. Across the papers, you see them, you know, these kind of panicky strategies. As you say, first of all, cut all our net zero pledges. That's what people care about. And then they're talking about, let's find some divisive policies that we can attack Labour on. Let's talk about crime. Let's talk about immigration. Let's talk about the votes. Let's talk about gender issues. It doesn't feel like a concerted, calm, you know, Conservative party with core principles, core values, and a party that knows what they're offering the country. And if we don't know what they're offering the country, you know, I don't think that they have a clue. There are also predictions of real wipeout, you know, 150 MPs, up to 150, set to lose their seats at the next election. So I think there must be
an internal... In the great scheme of things, though, that's not too bad, is it? 150 out? I mean, I know it's a big hit, but it could be worse. It could be a lot worse.
Yeah, but for example, the Selby, that was the second biggest by-election defeat since 1945. For the Tories.
Yeah.
So this stuff really does matter. The Uxbridge majority was slashed from, what, 7,000 to 495. So, I mean, these are really, really significant. And I think the mood in the Conservative Party is at rock bottom. I think, you know, Rishi Sunak is desperately trying to seize the initiative 8 months after he came to power.
But as you pointed out in the Telegraph, you know, net zero is one of these things which is targeted. And I don't know... I know it's unpopular with a lot of voters. I don't know if scrapping it is going to actually make that much difference.
I think you're absolutely right. I think this is a knee-jerk thing about reacting to ULEZ, reacting to Uxbridge, which is quite a specific instance. It's quite a specifically London-centric issue at the moment, ULEZ, although I know there are other schemes around the country. And so I think the Tory ministers are basically looking... They say they're looking for other green wedge issues, but I'm not sure that's what people are really talking about on the doorstep.
No.
Green issues. I mean... Yes, you know, there's lots of controversy surrounding climate change and green, you know, green issues. But I'm not sure that's going to be the thing that they're trying to peel voters away from Labour. No. I think it comes down to the economy. I think it'll be how people are feeling about the economy. And at the moment, inflation is still high and people are still feeling the pinch.
Yeah, I have to say, we don't talk about net zero down the pub.
No.
You talk about the price of Marmite.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Rates,
and prices coming down and, you know, just something to cheer us up. That's what we need. I think, you know, you see this, don't you? I mean, I don't know much about politics at all. I'm just a punter. But it seems to me that, you know, governments they have a sell-by date, don't they? And this one, they've been there for a long time. You know, they haven't fixed anything. We're tired of them. We want a change. We're not terribly impressed by Keir Starmer and Labour and what they've offered up until now. But I think people just vote for change, you know.
Or don't vote at all. I'm hearing from so many Conservative Party voters who say, do you know what? I don't know who to vote for at the next election and I won't bother.
Which is the biggest nightmare for Keir Starmer, because that could very likely see him get in, but it'd be a one-term wonder. If the Tories can reform themselves in opposition, then those people might go back to the Tory, but then suddenly he'll find himself outnumbered. Yeah,
but I think people who feel committed to getting Labour in will go and vote. But I'm talking about the right, not really knowing what to do, you know.
But that's the thing.
And I think if we feel like this, if there's this lack of direction and enthusiasm in summer, I think another hard winter with all the fuel bills and all of that and people really feeling the pinch, I think that it's going to be really tough next year.
But it could be hung Parliament territory, couldn't it?
I think you have to have change from time to time, but I am old enough to remember Labour governments, and a lot of it wasn't great. That I remember, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if this government or the next government brings in a mansion tax, and I think people will be surprised to find that a lot of them live in what is described as a mansion. I think it will affect a lot more people than they realise. So I would watch out for that one, definitely.
OK, let's have a look at the Telegraph and the right to bank. This whole banking issue, David.
Yes, exactly. Well, Boris Johnson, the Telegraph have the story, but Boris actually writes for the Mail, has a column now in the Mail, in which he said that the chief executive of NatWest, who also have Coots, of course, should resign if she leaked details of Nigel Farage's bank account to the BBC. It seems incredible, doesn't it, that banks decide whether we should have an account or not, depending on our political views. I think actually they're very lucky to have our money. And if I was banking with NatWest, I would be inclined to take it somewhere else. The only problem is that's a very complicated process, moving your money from one bank to another. You've got all your, your standing orders and things like that. If you have no bank account, I mean, you could be in a situation like that. You're absolutely stuffed because everybody now is easing out cash. So you have to have a bank account. So what do you do if banks say, I don't want you?
Well, exactly. I mean, it's
you need a bank account.
It really is. And where does this end? I think this is really insidious, what's happened to Nigel, and whether, we don't know all the full facts, and we don't know whether details of his bank accounts, that's really personal, sensitive information. We don't know whether details of that were leaked by the NatWest boss. And this is Boris being a little bit naughty, saying, if she's broken the rules, she needs to go. Go if you bent the rules.
But she
to
was...
which some people might say pot calling kettle black, but anyway. But he did go. He did go.
But, I mean, to be fair, no, we don't know where this was leaked from, but some information about his bank accounts was leaked to the BBC.
And a lot of documents.
The man who reported it was sat next to this boss of the NatWest Group
Simon
the
Jack.
night before.
Yeah, Simon Jack.
Well, I mean...
And also, even just from the Telegraph documents that have been leaked, we know that they've made decisions about his bank account based on whether his views aligned with their values. And frankly, I don't want my bank judging me for something I've said on social media or something I've said on television. I don't want my electricity company or my water company saying, oh, we're withdrawing our services as well because you're a racist or a fascist. We've all been called ridiculous things. What is this about having our views aligning with their values? Since when was that a thing?
Yeah.
I think it's really, really
How dare
creepy.
they? Yeah. They're very, very lucky to have our money, no matter how little it is.
Well, you can't exist in
What, you don't bank with Coots? Oh, darling.
But you can't exist in today's society without a bank account.
Yeah, I know.
So
I don't think
anybody.
but Nigel wasn't actually going to be completely stateless without a bank account, running around trying to get someone to take his
But
fibres.
9 different banks rejected
general.
him. So it is... I think anywhere you sit on the political spectrum, we should be very, very concerned about that whole situation. Hopefully we get some clarity now. Emma, let's go to the Mail, shall we? The front page, actually, on many of the papers this morning. Prince George celebrating his 10th birthday.
Yeah, isn't that lovely? My little boy just celebrated his 3rd birthday.
Oh, happy
and doesn't
birthday.
the time go fast? Yeah. Well, it's a beautiful photo. They've got a lovely... The Mail have got a lovely montage of George through the years at the age of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. And he just looks so... I think he looks so like William.
He does, doesn't he?
Really astonishing, the way it all comes through in families. But yeah, so this is George, the future king, reaching 10 years old. I mean, I really do quite remember quite vividly when Kate was having her first baby and everyone was camped outside the hospital, and that. Yeah,
Oh, it was so
gone in a
exciting,
flash.
wasn't it? So
Yeah,
exciting.
very exciting.
And it was taken in Windsor, wasn't it?
It was the first proper royal birth, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, God,
Of the young lot.
Of the yeah.
The young uns.
Yeah. What do you reckon, David? Does it make you feel nostalgic looking back at Prince George at 10?
Is he the one who's not going to go into the military? His parents have said he doesn't have to go into the military, breaking the tradition. Yeah, I think it's a good thing that he has the choice of that. But he was very well behaved at Wimbledon, wasn't he? You know, I mean, for a young boy like that to be sitting there all that time. Yeah, he's a good boy, isn't he?
They're astonishingly well-behaved children. Those children that sit through those carriage rides. Yeah, I know they sometimes pull the odd...
I don't know about Louis.
Well, young Louis, I know he's pulled the odd face and sticks his tongue out, but my goodness, most toddlers... Well, he's 5, I think, now, but most toddlers would be kicking off at ceremonies like that. Those children are ridiculously well-behaved, those 3.
But he's a spare, isn't he? He's going to be a spare.
So he'll have fun.
There's always
and
trouble with the spare.
Isn't there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Isn't there just?
Go back to Princess Margaret and look at that.
But no, it's a lovely picture.
Yeah.
Lovely picture. Happy birthday to him.
Yeah, happy birthday.
David, now this one, I've glimpsed it on the front of the Star. I haven't read the details, so tell me all.
Well, no,
why are we worried about E.T.?
I've only glimpsed at it as well, and I don't understand too much about it either. But a Pentagon chief has said we're facing potentially threatening alien technical surprises. So I don't know what he means by that. Do you think he means AI?
Is this linked to President Biden's pronouncement on AI yesterday? He was going to make a speech about AI, and the response online was hilarious. People were just saying... I mean, look, here's a guy in his 80s who can barely string 2 words, but, you know, apparently can't remember his own name and all of that, all the jokes about him being incredibly doddery. And then the idea that he was going to make some earth-shattering kind of pronouncements about artificial intelligence. So I'm wondering whether the Pentagon chief is reacting to... or is...
Can I just say something about Biden and all these references to him being doddery? He's actually about 5 years younger than me, and I find it very offensive that somebody of my age and his age is referred to as
but not
doddery.
not everybody is. You can be absolutely sharp as a tack in your 90s. Or you could be doddery in your 70s.
Bennett,
I didn't exactly.
who we'll probably talk about later.
I didn't mean
he
it
did his
as
last
in...
concert at 95.
Yeah.
And remembered all the words.
But it is... I mean, people do age differently, and I have to say, I worry about quite how we refer to President Biden in a way, but he's clearly not as sharp as we would like.
No.
Put it that way.
Well, you could have...
For the leader of the free world.
You could have a wonderful tape of his outtakes, couldn't you, and his cock-ups and things that he said. But, you know, I think I just don't like that sort of ageist thing that somebody of that age is always referred to as doddery. Yeah. I might be diddery, but hopefully not doddery.
Certainly diddy, if nothing else. Nothing else.
Exactly.
Emma, let's have a look at the Mirror and the Lionesses.
Excitement, great excitement. Let's all get behind women's sport.
Not feeling it, no.
The World Cup kicks off. And if you want to watch it in Australia, you need to be up watching at 10:30. People are saying, get up early and watch it. That's not early. Watching it on your sofa at 10:30 in the morning.
You do have a child.
We've done half your day.
Up early on a Saturday.
No, just work.
Oh, work.
But yeah, it's our opening game against Haiti. The tournament's happening in Australia, so this is, I think, the opening game is in Brisbane. And is she Serena Wiegman, the boss? Yeah, she's been talking about how we can, you know, repeat our glory of last year and really go all the way. So. Lots of excitement. I think it's brilliant that...
Have you heard their anthem?
No.
Yeah, I played it on my radio show yesterday, and I had an article about it in the Mail. I think it's very, very good. It's Hope FC, and it's 11 female voices, 11 as in a team. And I think it's the best anthem that's come out for a long time, you know, since the, you know, Baddiel and Skinner and those. It's not quite as rousing as that, but I think it captures the spirit. And I think when people start singing it at stadiums, stadiums. I think it's going to be a winner, and I hope the girls are as well. I think this, you know, we need something to cheer us up.
We do.
And whereas the men, you know, I always thought the old thing, you know, football's a man's game, but I don't believe that now. I think it's actually now really caught on, and I think, you know, the sentiment behind the Lionesses, I'm definitely going to go home and watch it after our show.
Good.
Well, it's the women that are bringing home the silverware, David.
Yes, I hope
There's more than we can say about the men.
And I tell you what, though, as well, when it comes to women doing things right, if they get the anthem right as well, as you say, then it might help us recover from the shame that was whatever. What was the one years ago that had John Barnes rapping in the middle of it? Do you remember?
Yeah, as a rapper, he was a great footballer, wasn't he?
Yeah, but terrible rapper.
I think this one will do a lot better. The only problem with the team is they've got a lot of injuries, and it's not exactly the same team as last year. But still, fingers crossed, plenty of talent there. Go, girls.
There you go. There you go. Lovely stuff. Emma, David, thank you. We'll see you both a little bit later on.
We'll have to listen to that now. Next ad break, we'll put that on.
All right, we'll
let
find
you know
out.
what we think.